come alongside and say, hey, no, your story is worth not only something, it's worth everything. The impact that you can have on the folks that you're called to actually serve. I want to be the vessel that literally just helps you push out, right? And birth the thing.
Yeah.
It is still the same work. Because spiritually, you're still getting a renewed sense of like, no, my message, my thing, that the stuff that I love to do and love to talk about and all is worth it.
Yeah.
So at the levels that someone can get that with me, I've developed sister friendships with my clients because it's way deeper than just like, I'm gonna get you on some podcast, right? And for the folks that come in and just like don't want to be about business, cool. But like, I understand what my calling is and the impact that I want to have on the world. And so this way of doing it, this idea of visibility is not just for like likes, shares, and like cute, whatever. No, I'm looking for some world changers. I'm looking for people who are like, yes, I'm ready, let's go, because I have something that people need to know about.
Welcome to Speakers and Stages, the series that goes beyond the mic and behind the scenes of powerful events. I'm your host, Lena Castle, event strategist and speaker experience expert. Yes, we're going to sit down and talk with event industry experts from backstage chaos to center stage clarity. This is where the strategy meets the spotlight. Let's get into it. Welcome everyone to another episode of Speakers and Stages, where we go beyond the mic and behind the scenes with the voices and visionaries shaping the event world. And today's conversation, I'm really excited because it's about visibility. Because let's be honest, no matter how great your message is, if people can't find you, they definitely can't book you. So join me in welcoming someone who knows how to get people seen, heard, and remembered. Carolee Moore, she's a visibility strategist, host of the Visibility is Currency podcast, and someone who is helping experts turn their presence into power. Carolee, welcome. Woo! Let's get you up here.
Thank you so much for having me, Lena. I'm very excited about this conversation.
Yes. Now, when you talk about visibility, I'm just like, oh, this is going to be so exciting, because I think what people think visibility is versus what it really, really is. That's what I would love for you to just start off talking about, like what visibility really is. Is it, hey, I'm out here, or is it more strategic? What does that mean?
Okay, so it all depends on what your goal is, right? Visibility just simply means being seen. However, if you're a business owner, visibility and being seen is not enough. And I think that's where the kind of next level comes in, because you can go viral and get visibility.
Yeah.
But majority of those people that are coming and watching your stuff or looking at your things after the fact don't really care about your offer. They're not your ideal clients. Like, they're kind of there for a good time, not a long time, and you're kind of back to square one.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times that's what we're kind of taught to focus on, the visibility of just being seen. But I think the kind of visibility that matters, and frankly, the kind of visibility that we try to garner for our clients, is one that not only gets you seen, but gets you chosen.
Ooh. Now, what does chosen mean? Because I'm like, ooh, choose me.
Right. And a lot of times that's really what I would say you're in business to do, right? You're trying to convince your ideal client, like, hey, I know you have this problem. I know you can choose from all of these solutions, but you should choose me because blah, 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 whatever your unique value proposition is. Yeah. And to get someone to actually say, yeah, I choose you, is the goal of marketing, right? The gap between them finding you, visibility, and them choosing you, sale, closing that's the marketing piece. That's the messaging. That's the stuff that I think people struggle with a lot when it comes to the idea of visibility, because throwing content out, this is also why I really don't like the whole adage of just post more.
Yeah.
If you're posting, like, no offense, really misaligned content,
yeah,
and Yeah, post a whole bunch more, and then you're still going to get the same result because it's not a lot, right? And so that gap is still going to be there because yes, people kind of see you, but if you're not speaking directly to them and they don't feel like you connect with them, then they're never going to get to that part of choosing you as the solution. And so chosen just simply means sale. Chosen means, okay, I'm now choosing to get on your calendar,
Yes.
right? To talk more about your solution to solve the problem that I have.
Now, from your perspective, what makes visibility such a currency in the speaking world, do you think? Yeah.
So I was going to be really cheesy. Think about it this way, right?
Mhm.
Who typically gets paid, and most of your audience are going to be speakers, right? Who typically gets paid the most when it comes to speakers? Is it the person that knows the most, like the expert, or is it the person that is known the most?
Known, visible, in high demand.
Thank you. And
Mm,
I I just there are a lot of brilliant people
mm.
who will never ever make the kind of revenue and the kind of money that they could because they don't want to be known.
Ooh. Ooh.
And I'm going to be honest with you, there are people right now that are listening to this that say they want to be known, but they don't really want to be known because the work that goes into that,
Yeah.
they're not willing to do, they don't want to do, they're scared of doing for multiple different reasons. And
Yeah.
so that's really kind of the crux of this. When you think about the fact of if you're ever trying to be anything outside of the average,
Yeah.
there's a different level that needs to get met. And visibility, kind of at the base of it, is not
Mhm.
enough. People kind of seeing you is one thing, right?
Yeah.
The other piece is what are they seeing? I gave an example in a video that I posted recently about two different actresses, Miley Cyrus, who I have zero beef with, right? Hannah Montana all day, and
Yes.
then Viola Davis. Those
Mhm.
are two well known
Yeah.
actors. They're both actors.
Yep.
Who are you going to choose when it comes to, I want to learn about what it takes to be a really great actor?
Viola all day.
Who are you going to choose when you're thinking about, hey, I want to understand the like minutia and all the, you're going to choose the person that comes off and is presented by their body of work, by how they present themselves, their packaging, their positioning in the marketplace.
Yes.
You're going to choose the person that is presented as an expert, period. And so it is okay to be seen, but
Yeah.
that's just like the first layer of the cake. If you're wanting to just kind of be popular, cool.
Yeah.
Um, however, popularity runs out, honey. Popularity runs out.
Oh,
And not a lot of people know how to monetize popularity. There's a lot of really, really famous broke people right now.
yeah. I mean, and you know this, there's so many people that have thousands of followers and will try to sell something and can't sell. So, what if somebody's showing up every single day and trying to make that connection? They do the call to action and there's a disconnect.
The first thing that I encourage people to do is stop running your business on assumptions.
Mm,
We create our offer on assumptions. We create our marketing on assumptions.
mm,
And then we get annoyed. It's like no one's buying. Like, what's going on? It's dry out here. No one's engaging with us because it's all assumptions. You haven't talked to anyone that is your ideal client to really say, okay, is this the language you would use to describe the problem you have?
ooh. So using their language
Right back to them.
right back to them and potentially using it as content that gives the visibility and it speaks to the people that speak like that.
Because, and here's the thing that I had to learn as well because I'm a nerd. I'm a word person. I'm a nerd. So there are words that I use that it's normal to me.
Yeah.
When you're making content, you really do have to make content at like a third, fourth grade level. I would even push it to fifth
Wow.
because majority of the people that you're trying to help don't have your knowledge, right? They didn't go and get their master's or their PhD in the subject that you have. And even if they do have some general understanding of the industry that you're in, if you are niched in your expertise, and a lot of our clients are, you really have to do overtime work to make sure as you're speaking, it's clear, it's like simple, easy to understand, broken down, connecting it to whatever, just like I did with the whole Miley Cyrus and Viola Davis piece, where you're like, oh, two actors I know. Oh, I get it. I get the like, right? That's the part that a lot of times when it comes to content, people are missing. And long form content, I would say, it's better for the expert simply because you do get a little bit more breathing room to expand on the ideas that you're talking about. So you can start super simple and build those blocks up. So by the end of the conversation, they're like, oh, I do understand this thing more. Right. And then you take those pieces within that long form and turn them into short form things. And so people can kind of understand as they go along. But I think a lot of people try to start at the finish when it comes to shorter pieces of content.
People start at the finish. That is, but when you say that, I also think about, when you're talking about long form content, does it matter which platform we're talking about, or you're saying it doesn't matter the platform, long form is in?
Long form is in, and it's in for a number of reasons. We are tired. I can speak for myself, and whoever is also like watching, listening to this, I know you tired too. This scroll all day, you are inundated with just a bunch of stuff. So everything starts to just feel like noise.
Yeah.
When you sit down and you choose, and this is the big piece, you have chosen to sit with somebody for 30, 45, 60 minutes and listen to their stories, hear their case studies, understand their background. You know where they came from. You're now invested in this thing, and you're kind of and for me, I'm taking notes. It's all of those things that you just can't get with a 60-second reel. You just cannot.
Ooh.
And that is breaking out of the noise and getting into something else. And you've seen that throughout the history of like how media changes and shifts and new things kind of come in.
Yeah.
When social media came in, the biggest piece of that was community. We were finally able to connect with people that were all over the world at first, even in different colleges, because Facebook was just like college to college or whatever the case may be. And that helped us to feel more connected. So we created communities within that. And that was the kind of difference between watching TV, where it's like you're in your house by yourself.
Yeah.
You're not really super connected when it comes to media. And then we bridge that gap. Now you're seeing we're wanting more authentic connection because we turn marketers, honestly, we ruin everything. So we took social media and turned it into like this mangled mess. And people are just dying for like, can I get some real stuff? Can I get like what really went down? Can we go behind the scenes things? Why people are so fascinated by it is because it's like it's genuinely real. We can tell this isn't a fake Lamborghini. You own this thing. We can like genuinely understand what's going on. And over the last few years, and I'm sure you've seen it, it's been a lot of fake, phony people online. A lot of people selling, false hopes and false dreams. And we're also burnt out from that as well. Like, how can I know that this person actually knows what they're talking about? Really?
Remember the Clubhouse days? I think people were saying that they had different kinds of bags and doing all, I make this much and I'm an expert in this. People took it because they're only hearing and didn't even do the research and opted into something. Yeah.
Exactly. And so now what we're finding is long form content for experts, like the real experts, is the best way to differentiate yourself because you can fake it for a few minutes.
Yeah.
60 old minutes, especially for with a pretty good interviewer,
Yeah.
holes are going to start to
Yeah.
come, right? And that's what people, and they'll do their research. And I love this era of people going and actually doing research.
Yeah.
There are very few people that come through our funnel and get to me to sit down for a meeting, discovery meeting, sales meeting, whatever, who has not watched our content, who has
Yeah.
not seen me on a podcast before, who has not gone and looked at our website and really kind of understand exactly what we offer. It's very few because people are trying to make sure that, like,
Yeah.
you really who you say you are. Okay, let's, you know what I mean? Like,
But what I like about that is that one, it's not wasted time by the time they get to you. It's
that.
clear. It's not, but there's a lot more touch points that people have to have nowadays to be able to make a purchasing decision. There's a guy on Instagram, he goes like this and he's recording himself in a mirror, right? And he's talking to himself. I don't know if you've ever seen him. My husband watches him. I don't think he's funny. My husband thinks he's hilarious. But when you talk about stories, yes, just last night, he's like, he lives with his mom, right? I'm like, no. And he's like, well, one time he said that his mom has certain pans that he can't cook in. And he burnt this pan doing whatever experiment he was doing. And the mom kicked him out and he was in a hotel. I'm like, he knows all these different things. And I'm just like, not any of this is interesting, but for someone to know, especially the mindset, my husband's a lawyer, so for him to be able to space out on something that is not that important, it doesn't have to do with, logic or anything. I'm just like, wow, storytelling can really go a long way when you know somebody's story, their history, even if it's just so simple as, yeah, I live with my mom, I'm stacking, this is how I got to this place. But
And
sometimes
how many people, like, in the past, I think there's still a whole bunch of us, and I'm putting myself in this category because, yes, you would never share some of those failures
yeah,
or perceived failures online.
yeah,
Like, it was the polished life. It's like
yeah.
we're all happy, everything is good. Like, there's nothing happens, nothing to see here. It's not like a dumpster fire back here at all. Like, we're good.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing this thirst, this hunger for, can we get past
Yeah.
all of this fakeness? Can we wipe off all of this and let's just be real? And you're seeing those people win.
I
Now,
love that.
yeah, of course you're seeing like the fake struggle people. There's always somebody trying to make a hard, like, it's just what it is. But
Yeah.
you're seeing far and away, you're seeing this is something I tell our clients all the time too. Is like, talk about the things that you have to actually go through to make it to where you're at. It's not a ta-da moment where you were born and now you're making seven figures in your business. Like, something had to happen.
Yeah.
What were those kind of transformational, whatever? Dude that's living with his mom trying to stack, in 5 years, if he built a multi seven figure business just on social media while he living in his mama's house, that's the story,
Yeah.
right? Now he charging $25,000 per speaking engagement to go and tell said story. But it would not be possible if we're not able to be open and be like, yo, no, this is what I went through.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, whatever, again, if you're listening to this and kind of thinking through, how do I, one, get more visible, and
Yeah.
two, able to kind of turn that into revenue,
Yeah.
closer to reality that you can make the thing, the better.
Mm.
So if you are in a situation where you just have a few clients, but you're killing it with those clients and you're getting really wins with those clients, every day should be like on Instagram or on LinkedIn, like, hey, I just did so and so for this client and did this and da da da. And that's how you're going to get people invested, because they're seeing you go from 2 clients to 10,
Wow.
15 to 50. Like, they're now invested in your growth. And after 4 or 5 years, when instead of you being in like a dingy apartment with books stacked
Yeah.
up for
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
moving from that, they'll be able to say, okay, I knew you win. And your visibility will lead to people being like, all right, I can see that you're doing stuff.
Hmm.
I want to see what that's about. Let me check that out.
Now, because this whole long form content is like where that deeper trust is built, is there a preference that you say this is probably the best way to go, or does it depend on one's personality? Like, is it a podcast? Is it interviewing? Is it blog post? Or is there a certain like this is really where it's at, or is it just depends on the person?
Uh, hmm, all of the above.
Okay.
So what I've always been an omni-channel marketing, like a proponent for that, because at the end of the day, when you think about content as a whole, it doesn't work in a silo. So if you went on all these podcasts, long form content, great, and then you did nothing else with that content.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm saying? If you were just blogging your heart's desire and that's just what you did, like, can you grow with that? Yes. Can you grow? Yes. How to maximize that? Put
yeah.
all of them together. All of them together, right? And this is the piece of it, taking that one long form content, splicing it up into multiple reels, into multiple kind of different social media content, taking that transcript and turning that into a promotional email to your list. And then where you take one of the little snippet videos and pop them into that promo email as well to make it a more enjoyable read. Same thing for a blog post.
Wow.
It's one piece of content, multiple different ways. I don't see why anyone, and I don't see why anyone would go on a podcast and not leverage all of that. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I learned recently as a statistic, and I was just like, it tracks, but I'm disappointed. Okay. Is that only around 10% of the people that go on a podcast actually use the content from a podcast to promote their feature. Meaning,
Oh.
we going on podcasts, talk, have a good conversation, and be like, great, and never do anything.
Wow.
Only 10% of the people that are going on podcasts are actually going and promoting their feature with.
And not repurposing it and making it shorts and like with the words and all of the, oh wow.
And what that means is, think about how easy it would be to stand out and go. I mean, how easy would it be to be above mediocre in this situation? 10%.
But that's why, like, when you like LinkedIn, for example, the number of people that are on there and just scrolling versus the people that are actually posting in that space. So
Yeah,
it's a blue ocean.
yeah, it's around the same number. Actually, it's way less than that, actually. Um,
Yeah.
not 10%. It's less than 10% of the people who are on LinkedIn are actually posting. And if you go into like people that are posting regularly, because not just like posting once a month or what, it's like
Wow.
1%. Like, and if you go into like who's posting videos, it's even like way less than that. Because a lot of people are just reposting other people's stuff.
Yeah.
That's the majority of the content that's on there, right? And
Yeah.
so it is incredibly important. Like, if you're listening to this, it seems overwhelming, but I promise you, what you think your competition is doing, they're not. They're not.
Yeah.
And it's easy for you to kind of get above the rest by simply just being consistent. Like, period.
Yeah.
We I've been doing podcasts and podcast guesting for years, in that space for years, but we didn't launch like our full business until October of last year. And we've already seen how much we've carved out in the market just by, again, being consistent. Because
Oh
a lot of the folks that were doing it, they're from the PR space or whatever. They were kind of just like, all right, we got this couple of clients, like, we don't have social media, we don't have to do none of this. I mean, I'm like, we're everywhere. Like, that's the total domination factor,
Yeah.
right? And so it's not as hard as you think to dominate in the space that you're in, because as much as you think you're not doing enough, majority of the people that are in your space, whatever space it is, not doing enough.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
I'm going to read this. What would you say to the speaker who's been sitting on content, not because they don't have value, but because they're still questioning if anyone's paying attention?
So, one of the things that I learned, so there's two things.
Yeah.
The first thing is, and I'm going to start with the more important piece. You have no idea who's watching your stuff. Not everybody who's watching your stuff is liking your stuff or commenting on your stuff,
That's right.
but they're watching. And them same people will end up on your calendar for a sales call eventually. Has it happened to me? Yes, it has.
Myron, if you're listening right now, go ahead and make that call.
That is a real thing of like you're watching the number of people who are commenting or liking or whatever your content.
Yeah.
What you should be thinking about, what you should be focused on is the number of how many consistent things you're putting out there. Right? Your job is to put it out.
Yeah.
This is from a perfectionist. And it was so hard for me to get to this place of like, listen, I look crazy, my eyebrows look janky. I don't like one of them look, and I'm still putting it out. Yeah. Am I going live right now with like a t-shirt from 10 years ago? I sure am.
Yes.
Don't take this content because I'm in the space right now to talk about whatever it is that's on my mind. And people don't care. You care a lot more than people do. And that is the second piece, right? The first one is like, hey, you're focused on the wrong number. You're focused on the wrong number because not everybody's going to like your stuff. They're interested. They might find it engaging or whatever. You're on social media. People are constantly scrolling. You have no idea who's watching your stuff. The second piece, genuinely, is like, stop caring so much.
We care more than they care.
Way more. Think about it. We're all the stars in our own show. You think they care that much about you? Are at best the person walking in the restaurant passing the character. You're not. They don't care that much, right?
Oh,
which is why your content needs to be about them and not you. One, but also two is like getting into.
Wait. Yeah. Say that part again. That is huge.
The content that you're creating. Absolutely. And one of my it's not a trick. One of the things that I've started to do, this is probably a few years back, is worked like magic, is I literally write to a person.
Same person every time or?
Every time.
Oh. You talking about the content or an email?
So like content, emails are content. Like it's all content. And the way that I see this, so I have a person, but I'm not talking to her where she is now all the time. Get this. Ooh. So it's a person who has been a client who was lovely and we vibed and all the things and she was great. So what I did was I had an informational interview with her. What were your pain points before? What words would you be using to describe your experiences before? All of those things. And then I also talk about like what made you decide to work with me? Ooh. Like what were the things that like stuck out to you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I talk about the experience with me. What did you like about it? So my content is now in 3 buckets. It's the person who just like happened on my stuff, don't know me from a hole in the wall. Yeah. What would that person need to hear? Okay. Then for the people that have been following me or they kind of know what I do or they do know what I do, but they're trying to figure out whether or not I'd be the right fit or whatever, what do those people need to hear? Ooh. Right. And then also for the folks who are like, okay, I'm game, but I'm nervous about like, then I talk to them about the experience of being my client. What does that look like? What does that feel like? Those 3 buckets, same person, just 3 different phases of the customer journey. And if you're making content consistently for that person, then the message sticks to your ideal. There will be people who's like, this is not for me. And that's kind of what you want. You want them to be like, and skip.
Yes. We'll tell them on purpose.
You want like my favorite thing to hear, and I've heard it, several times because I'm hyper targeting a specific person. I felt like you were talking to me. Because I was. Or listen, as soon as you were talking on this podcast, I was like, yeah, no, I need to find this girl, because like there's stuff that I'm hearing that is just very much me and my story and how I viewed myself and all this other things. I'm like, yeah, those are curated stories that I created those to tell, to make sure that you heard them. It's all strategy.
I mean, there's just so many things I think that for somebody watching, it's like an aha. It seems like it's so, oh yeah, I should know that. But until you say it, especially about content, and I think it takes the weight and the heaviness of, oh my gosh, I got to be looking a certain way. But if you're talking about and you put the emphasis on the other person, and it's a solution to a problem that they have, and I think that we lose sight of that too, that we're so caught up in what we're doing versus invite someone to solve something that they've been trying to solve for so long. Just invite them. My grandfather used to say the worst that anyone could say is no.
Right. And one of the things that was like a wake-up call, it was like a bell that woke me out of my sleep, and I was like, oh yeah, you're right. My coach, she's like, if you actually cared as much for the people that you serve as much as you say you do, what would your marketing look like? What would you be doing in your business right now if you genuinely cared as much as you said that you do about these people? Would it be like, oh, I don't have the right shade of lipstick right now, so I can't go live? Because it's like someone's life is on the line.
Yeah.
Someone's legacy is not being, you know what I mean? This is important. If you don't think that way about your own business,
yeah,
if you genuinely don't feel like what you're doing is that impactful, honey, then pack it up. Go find something else to do. Go work for somebody else, 9 to 5. This ain't for you. Oh. Because how are you going to build a business and make someone else believe you if you don't even believe that what you're doing is important and impactful?
Right.
So you put in the work. Like I said from earlier in the conversation, a lot of people say they want to be visible. A lot of people say they want visibility. And what are they doing?
Yeah.
Hemming and hawing around. You really don't want to be seen. Let's just be real. Sorry, this is where.
But I like the zone you go into because it shows your true passion about it. And you know what you're talking about. A lot of people can't get there and get so passionate and riled up about it because it's not their burning desire. Some people choose, this is how I can make money for right now. Mm-hmm. And that's real.
That's real.
Yeah. But haven't we all? But once you figure that thing out, it's like, yeah, this is my assignment. I have to do this.
Because it's tied to my purpose that is far beyond podcasting. Mm-hmm. It is tied, it's the thing that God has, and we are going to mention God.
Yeah. Yes.
Because period. For me, I've been called to people who have been hiding themselves because of shame, because of feeling like, oh, I've done this thing or this thing happened to me, and so therefore I'm not worthy of fill in the blank. Oh. And if someone is that way in their like regular life, just so they're going to be that way in business as well. It's going to bleed over into all of the things, right? Mm-hmm. And I know if that's my calling, period, who I work with, the folks who are underrepresented, the folks who are counted out, the folks who are ignored, the folks that have been stepped over, the folks who are like doing all the work, but somebody else is out here like, and my team, and we did. No, I did.
Yep.
I did that. That person that's been there for 20-something years, 15 years, 10 years, working diligently, but been terrified of putting themselves out there because of all of the negative things that they've either said to themselves or the experiences that they've had. I come alongside and say, hey, no, your story is worth not only something, it's worth everything. the impact that you can have on the folks that you're called to actually serve. I want to be the vessel that literally just helps you push out, right? And birth the thing.
Yeah.
It is still the same work because spiritually, you're still getting a renewed sense of like, no, my message, my thing, that the stuff that I love to do and love to talk about and all is worth it.
Yeah.
So at the levels that someone can get that with me, I've developed sister friendships with my clients because it again, it's way deeper than just like I'm gonna get you on some podcast, right? And for the folks that come in and just like that want to be about business, cool. But like I understand what my calling is and the impact that I want to have on the world. And so this way of doing it, this idea of visibility is not just for like likes, shares, and like cute, whatever. No, I'm looking for some world changers. I'm looking for people who are like, yes, I'm ready, let's go, because I have something that people need to know about.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for the folks who are like, I just want to be famous. I want to have this many followers. Like, yeah, I can give you another person to go and work with, right? That's me. And so if you're listening to this and you have that passion, like whatever it is, they're gonna understand and know that when you put yourself out there. If
So
you're not out there, they're not gonna know.
that's a very good point. And would you say, because you brought up purpose, you brought up, okay, God's purpose in your life, in our lives, um, when somebody feels stuck, and this has been on my heart for like about a month or so, when we get stuck or that imposter syndrome starts coming in, is it because I feel like it's because we stop doing the work we're called to do for a moment? But once we're in it, we're energized, we're like, it is very clear. But once we have like a bump in the road, or there's maybe a gap in time of doing the thing, that all those other things start to creep in, or I'm not posting, or I'm not saying, or I'm not. Do you think that that's possibly why people get stuck with?
Yeah, I think we get in our heads and then we get tired of thinking. And so we feel exhausted. So we feel like we've been doing stuff. It's like, no, you've been thinking a lot and not
Overthinking.
doing, overthinking and not really doing anything, right? And so you're not seeing the stuff in your business work, and then you get frustrated. But it's like you weren't doing anything.
Mm,
You were thinking, you were overthinking, you were overanalyzing, you were, well, I don't know, I'm changing your mind a million times. And this is what I talked about earlier with this idea of people just operating their business on assumptions. If you're doing something and it's not working, don't just keep doing it, right? If you're serving people, ask them, hey, my favorite thing to do is like after someone says, nah, I'm good to an offer, like, why? Tell me why no. Even when I was in the job market and I didn't
yeah.
get the job, I would send an email to ask why. I've gotten referrals for other jobs from just asking, hey, why did I not get this?
Mm,
We are so stuck here that the work doesn't. And one of the best advice or best like comments that I've heard around this topic is you can literally work your way into a solution, meaning you might be confused. You might not know what to do. You have
mm,
two options. You can either continue to work, continue to iterate, continue to, I'm just going to, whatever. Or you can pause and again, sit and
mm,
be like, well, I don't know. And the fastest way to getting to a solution, the fastest way to getting to something that's going to solve what is to actually do the work,
mm.
period.
You get to learn while you're doing the work. What
Exactly.
works, what doesn't work,
Exactly.
automating them. What can I get? Like, how can I close this gap quicker? Get to the value faster. Oh, that's so good.
And even if you fail, I heard this, I wish I remember his name to give him credit, where he basically said, no matter what,
Yeah.
work works.
Ooh.
And what he means by that is if you do the work and you get the goal, fantastic. If you do the work and you didn't get the goal, the person you become after doing that work,
Wow.
that's still work.
Wow.
That's still change.
Wow.
That's still progress.
Mm.
So there's no losing. The only way you lose is by sitting just full
Or minimizing the work.
right.
Like,
So
oh yeah, it's just this little email, or I got to put this little post out there, but you're not even considering the impact, or someone that is actually watching the content and they're trying to figure out how does that even connect with. Oh, that's such a great point. Oh my goodness. Oh, and before we go anywhere, I want to make sure that my audience gets this free email course. So tell us about this email course. Like, what is the impact of this?
sure. So I have a four-part framework that I use for our clients. Is how I for everything. It's called Cake because I'm a fat girl in a skinny girl's body. Um,
Love
and
it.
the email course goes through Cake is crafting your pitch. It is going and appearing live. It is knowing your offer, which is for me this email course, which is your lead magnet, and then the end executing on your evergreen content plan, right? And so what the email course does, it walks you through the majority of that. It goes through the CA and the K because I don't want to overwhelm you. Those three things are huge. So it's a 4-week course. Every week you're getting homework. And so there is an implementation, like you can immediately start to implement certain things within your business. And if, especially if visibility is a thing that you want to do. And if you're thinking about doing podcasts, or frankly, if you've been pitching podcasts or even appearing on podcasts, but you want to do it better, to not just have visibility, but to have the visibility that turns into currency, that is definitely the thing for you. So it's super quick, easy. I'm also super nosy. So if you download this thing and I don't see you open it, because I can tell, I'm going to send you an email. And I also will send you an email after the 4th week as well to check in and see how you're doing, and if whether or not we could help you with anything. So that is a fantastic way to kind of get your feet wet. And frankly, probably not more than your feet because it's a
And
lot.
and and it gives you, and there's no excuse of not knowing where do I get started and what should I be thinking about and considering. It's like, or you could just stay and keep doing what you're doing and not getting results.
But two options, always. There's always two options.
Oh my goodness. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, hanging out with us. Everyone who's listening, what I can say about this is remember that visibility is not about being everywhere. It's about showing up where it matters with a message that moves people. And what I also heard is that it's also about being in different places, but being strategic and long form content, if I'm hearing everything correctly. So thank you so much, Carolee, for joining us and watching this episode of Speakers and Stages, you all. And if you've got value from today's conversation, definitely share it with a fellow speaker or an event professional. And we'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Really appreciate this, Carolee.